So just a little bit of really basic troubleshooting on a stovetop like this, electric stovetop. There's only a few things that can go wrong. If you're getting heat at 3 of your elements and it's just one that you're having a problem with, that means you've still got power to the unit and there's no concern that you've tripped a breaker or something. So make sure that you do have power to the unit. You know, if all of them aren't working, you might not have any power to it. Now, if it's just one element that's not heating, in this case, it's the front left, you know that there's some kind of issue. The first thing you're going to want to make sure is that these two prongs are indeed actually plugged in. We made sure that this was indeed stuck into the plug and dropped down properly. If you look at one of these other ones that's still good, you can see there's like a little bracket there where this plugs in. It was indeed stuck into the plug properly, but sometimes you just have to bend these both straight and then get it plugged in and you're good to go again. Sometimes they'll come loose. You don't want that to be like an iffy connection though while it's plugged in there, otherwise what will happen is the plug will melt off, and that's what happened with this one. So I'll take it apart and show you. Now if your plug is in good shape, your element is plugging in fine, and you're still not getting any heating on that, that means that those two wires going back to this switch are probably not supplying any power. You could use a tester and check there. If you don't have power, then you know it's an issue with your switch or a connection coming up to your switch, and you'd have to remove the back panel and check that. However, if you do have power there, it means it's your element. You can also use your probe to test the element and see how many ohms it's reading on this element across these two, and you get an open circuit, then that means that that element is bad. If you get an ohm rating, then it's probably still good. I don't know for sure, but we'd probably get like 18 ohms. We'll just check it really quick so you can see what we're getting on an element like this. So, 22 ohms. These are pretty cheap and you can pick them up as a replacement, so if you don't have an electrical tester and you're pretty sure you are indeed getting power there, then you could just pick up a different element. Another way you can check the element if you're pretty sure you're getting power there is to just take a good element and plug it in over here, and if it heats there and the one that was there is not heating, then you know that that element is bad. Yes, you can see it melted out. Just a Phillips screw here, we can remove that, and I think this whole plug assembly scoots out of there. So I removed that one screw that brings this out like this. You can see they have a pair of colored wires going to each element in order to keep them straight. Ours in this case has the orange wires coming up to it, and you can see it burnt up the plug quite badly. So we're going to need to get a different plug in order to properly repair this. I'll link in the description to a new plug or a new element. Ran down to the local repair store here, and he had exactly what I needed. This is like $9-10 bucks, and this is just a universal kit. I'll try to link in the description to something similar, or a couple of different options, but he said this one should work fine for what I had there. It's helpful if you do go to a local store to just throw in your part that you had so that they can see exactly what you're talking about, because it's so hard to explain what you need sometimes. Here's what those replacement elements look like. You just measure how big your element is, and you can pick up the replacement one. We just got these at Menards, which is kind of like a Home Depot for those of you who don't live in the Midwest. But those can also be ordered online, so I'll link in the description to those as well. So here's the instructions for the terminal block replacement kit. You can go ahead and read through those, but we're just gonna kind of do it here. You can see they send two different brackets, and we are going to be using this one here. It's more similar to our existing one. And then of course there's our new terminal block made out of like a Bakelite type material. And then wire nuts, heat shrink. And these wire nuts are high temp wire nuts, so they're made out of porcelain. So if it's not a perfect connection and it does heat up, it won't actually catch on fire because this is just porcelain. It's really neat that they make porcelain wire nuts. Okay, so we're just going to take the new terminal block, and I believe it goes with the angled side toward the plug like this. So you just snap that into the bracket. That appears to be the same distances as on the other side there. And then you take the wires and you drop them through here like so. and they actually snap into place in here. There's a little spot there. You can see right there where this clips in. I believe it goes this way. So we should be able to get those two tabs that stick out on here to line up with the little groove. It might actually be easier to install these first without this stuff in the way, so let's just do it this way. So I got that snapped in properly, just like so. Do the same thing on the other side, just like that. Both of those are clipped in place. Now we can take our bracket and install that right here, and now this is ready to be screwed up in place up there. But before we do that, we'll go ahead and connect the wires. So they already have them pre-cut to strip here, and I noticed in the instructions they specifically say to not pre-twist the wires. It says the right way is to put the wires in next to each other and not pre-twist. So you'll have to comment down below if you believe in pre-twisting. We'll slide these heat shrink tubes on over the wire, just like so. And then I actually kind of like pre-twisting a little bit. I feel like it makes a difference and improves the quality overall. Not a lot though, just a little bit. So you can see in the instructions how that is then going to encapsulate the wire nut underneath the heat shrink. So you just bend this one way like that. You should be able to slide the wire nut into the heat shrink just like this. Till it's about halfway. Same thing on this side. And then you don't have to use a blowtorch. That's what I have, so that's what I'm going to use. I'll just want to be really gentle with the heat. Should be good. Ooh. And now we're going to go ahead and reinstall this up here, and we'll be ready to replug the stove back in. So just installing the mounting bracket here. Depending on what style you have, you might not use this exact clip. And now we can go ahead and install the burner. I am going to just clean this up though. You don't want this to be too crusty, otherwise you might have some issues connecting it again. So I had to straighten up this bracket so that those are more even. You can see where they need to go, right in there. Now we're just going to slide those in. So now we're fully secured, and now we can go ahead and test it. So when we turn it on here, we shouldn't have any sizzling, sparking, or smoking. And yep, we are heating again on this element. So I never did double check the voltage on there, but I know that we're getting proper voltage since all the other ones are working anyway. So yeah, that should be it. So anyway, I hope that you found this video helpful in troubleshooting your stove. Again, I'll try to link to that stuff in the description below. But otherwise, hope that you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you later.